Welcome back. Like we said from the last video, we went ahead and added in all these collision boxes while we're away, so that now we can walk through the house without falling through the floor, right? So just to demonstrate how that goes, we're going to hit play here, and you can see we can walk around, but we can't walk through the walls. That made it so you can't fall off there. Can't walk through the railings. Now with the doors, you got it so you just walk through it. Now in this video, we're going to look at how we can animate the door so that when we approach it, it opens up, right? So let's go ahead and let's do that. So we come here. Now if we look at this door, because of the way that we exported it, it's got the rotation point, the pivot point here in the center of the door, which is not what we want. We want it to open up from the side, right? So if we hit this, it kind of rotates like that. That's not what we want. So we're actually going to open up this model back in 3ds Max, and we're going to change that. So to that, it's pretty easy. Just click on the object, and you can see the pivots here in the center. We just go to this hierarchy tab here, have pivot selected, and affect pivot only. Now what that's going to do is it's going to let us move this pivot and adjust it however we want. So let's go ahead and hit W on our keyboard. It'll give us these extra moving arrows here, and I'm just going to grab the X one and move it out here to the end. I'm just going to come around here and make sure right there at the end, make sure to move it in just a little bit. Okay, now from there we just need to export this back out so that that pivot's there in that spot again. So let's hit our scripts again, UE4 export. Just make sure you've got the folder that you've exporting it to selected, and then hit export selected object. It's going to give you this warning saying, hey, you've got already one in there, do you want to replace it? Yes, we want to replace it. And keep the settings the same as what we had, and that'll export it. Come back here to Unreal, find the door, right click on it, and hit re-import. Now it's going to move the door over because it's got it located here based on the origin point, right? So since we moved the origin point, we've got to kind of move this back over there. We need to do the same thing with this door here. Just move that on over. Alright, perfect. Now we're ready to animate it, right? So what we need to do, let's go ahead and hit save. Good idea to save your project frequently. Let's go ahead and we can put it in, let's just put it in this first person BP blueprints folder here. You can put it whatever you want. We're going to create an actor blueprint. We're going to call it door BP. Open it up. Opens up this blueprint editor window. And what we need to do is come over here and find our door. Drag it in here, and looking good. Now what we're going to do is we are going to let's apply the materials back on there just so that it still looks good when we export it over. So now what we need to do is we need to go to this event graph, and let's just go ahead and get rid of these. Oh wait, one more thing we need to do. When you go back to the viewport, we need to add a box trigger. So add a component, and type in box collision. put that kind of in the middle of the door there. And we can change the size of it. So that when we bump into this, it opens up for us, right? Okay. Now, we want to make sure that this box is parented to the root and not to the door. Otherwise, the box will rotate with the door, and that's not what we want. So go ahead, hit compile, save here. Back to that event graph that we had, and let's put this out here. Actually, let's right click on the box, add event, and on component begin overlap. We also want to add event on component end overlap. So basically, when an object walks into the box, we want it to do one thing, and when it walks out, we want it to do another. So what we're going to want to do here is we're going to want to add what's called a timeline. Here, add timeline. We're going to call it door rotate. Now double click on this. It opens up this here, and you can add a variable here. We want to add it to a float variable, and we'll call it the rotation. And so you need to right click, add key there, add key, and we want the time to be about 2.5 seconds, or let's just do 2 seconds, and we want the value time to be 0, value to be 0. We want this time to be 2, and the value to be 90 degrees. And doing fit there. Then hit Control and select both values there, and right click, and we want to make this auto, so it makes it a kind of a smooth curve there. So after we've done that, hit compile again, and we get this new track, which is the rotate, right? So what we want to do is go into the viewport, and we want to set that back to where we had it, and we want to, when it overlaps, we want to hit play, and we want it to reverse. So now what we need to do is we need to make sure that what's going on is that we're rotating the door. So let's drag the door down, and from here we're going to go set relative rotation right here. drag this out, and we're going to make rotator, and we want this to go to the X, not the Z, and then we're going to add that rotation into there. So let's compile and save. So let's test this out, see if we did it right. So what we can do is we can delete that door there, go to where we saved our blueprint and drag it on. And just get that into position here. Right now, so when we approach this and we enter that box, it should open up. So let's give that a test. Let's hit play and walk forward, and didn't work. So let's find out why that didn't work. So we need to make sure that we drag over this update here to here. Let's compile that and save. Let's test it out. Set play. Walking up, and when we get close to the door, it opens up. Now if we wanted to open up the other way, we can go ahead and look at that. See, when I leave it, closes, enter, opens. Alright. So say we wanted it to open the other way. We can go ahead here, open the editor. We could come in here and we can change this value to negative, right? Compile, save, hit play, and now when we enter, it opens that way. Closes, opens. Alright. So that's how you can create a door that opens, and you can go through and do that for each type. If you want, we can let's go ahead and maybe we'll look at these doors here. So what you're would have to do is you're gonna have to go into 3ds Max and delete one door and just have one side of the door, and then just duplicate it in. So in the next video, I'll go ahead and show you how to do that, and then we'll see what you back in the next video. Thank you.